Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with another competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon moveset video guide how to use on Mimikyu. Now before we get into it, I just want to say if you missed any of the previous competitive moveset videos, there's a playlist down below. You guys can go ahead and check that out. And if you like what you see, maybe subscribe, maybe follow me on Twitter, maybe follow me on Twitch. It's all up to you. Also, one more thing I do want to note. For the people that are asking, are you going to be doing Araquanid? Are you going to be doing Silvally? Are you going to be doing Xmon? Yes. I'm going to be doing every single new generation Pokemon. So every single Pokemon that is new, that came out with Sun and Moon, their evolved forms, and maybe even moved on to Little Cup forms, things like that. I'll be doing that. So I'll be doing a competitive moveset video guide on every single Pokemon. Just be patient. Just be a little bit patient. I'm trying my best to get all of them done as quickly as possible. But for now, let's get into Mimikyu. Now, Mimikyu has amazing offensive and defensive typing. Ghost and Fairy is extremely solid. You have 3 natural immunities: Dragon, Normal, and Fighting. None of those can touch you, and you are only weak to 2 different types. That would be Steel and Ghost. So outside of that, you either resist or take neutral from every other attack. So very solid typing on a Pokemon with not the best stats. It does have average attack at base 90 and average speed at base 96, which is actually pretty cool for Mimikyu though, because it does allow it to outspeed base 95 Pokemon and lower, and its best stat would be special defense. But the thing that makes Mimikyu extremely cool, in my opinion, is its disguise ability, which means that it takes 0 damage the first turn it is out in battle. So the first turn it is attacked, its disguise will be busted and it will not take damage. So it's like a substitute, except it does not protect you from status moves or Confuse Ray, which is a status move but not technically a status move. It's not like it's not in the same category as Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, and Toxic, but you can be hit with those hits, with those attacks through your disguise. That's just something to know. Now we have 3 sets here. As you can see, we have 3 different SD sets, and then we have other options. I believe Swords Dance Mimikyu is its best set. And they're just different variations of them, but I believe Swords Dance is its best set, mainly because you take advantage of its base 90 attack. It has decent stabs in Play Rough. It has a priority move in Shadow Sneak, and Shadow Claw has decent stab as well. Now the first set we have is Lumberry set. Now I did mention how Disguise, while it does allow you to avoid damage on the first turn that you are attacked, so basically when you send out Mimikyu and it gets attacked, your disguise will pop or you'll be busted, and from there you won't take any damage. However, you do have the ability to be Thunder Wave, to be Will-O-Wisp, to be Toxic through the disguise, even if it is not busted. So Lumberry is the first item that we have on Swords Dance Mimikyu, and to my experience and just from a lot of battling in general and testing, Lumberry has been the best for me, just because there's a ton of Pokemon that run around with Will-O-Wisp, with Thunder Wave respectively, and just being able to not have to worry about that as a setup sweeper, as a physically attacking setup sweeper, especially Burn, especially Thunder Wave, is annoying. Being able to cut down my speed and the fact that you can't sometimes attack, extremely annoying on Mimikyu. So the first set is Swords Dance. I run Adamant, which still allows you to outspeed Pokemon like Modest, Tapu Fini, or excuse me, Modest Tapu Lele, excuse me. But Jolly Canby Ran, which does allow you to outspeed Max Speed Kyurem Black, Max Speed Silvally, Max Speed Tapu Lele, pretty much base 95s and lower. But I do like Adamant for the power, especially because I'm not running Life Orb. I am running Lumberry on this set. The idea of this set is just to set up and go. Max attack, max speed, rest is just put in Spadef just to boost that Spadef that it does have. Now if Mimikyu actually had better base HP, defensively I think this Pokemon would be a lot better. Just because of all of its natural resistances and immunities, though it doesn't actually resist that much. Not gonna lie, I think it only resists Bug, but it is immune to 3 different types. Maybe it resists something else that I'm just not thinking of right now. Excuse me. It is kind of late, but just check it out for yourself. We can just go on Cerebi. But in any case, Swords Dance I think is its best set. You have Shadow Sneak for priority, which allows you to take out Pokemon like Gengar +2, weakened Pheromosa, weakened pretty much any weakened Mon at +2, and the fact that you have Disguise gives you the opportunity to set up a Swords Dance. One way that I actually love to play Mimikyu is if my opponent has a setup sweeper, let's say Dragonite for example, and let's say that Dragonite is at about 70% and its Dragon Dance up once, so it is faster than Mimikyu. I don't have to worry about that. As long as I got off damage on that thing, I can go out to Mimikyu. When it attacks me, all it can do is pop my Disguise. I can go for Play Rough and knock that thing out. So that's just an example of how Mimikyu can work as well, how you can play it around with the disguise. You can save that disguise for a setup sweeper, for even a Pokemon, let's say like Scarf Tapu Lele. Scarf Tapu Lele is extremely frustrating for offensive teams to face. And Mimikyu works best on offensive teams. In fact, I would pair this thing with a Magnezone that gets rid of Skarmory, Celesteela, Ferrothorn, Scizor, all mons that Mimikyu does not like to face. They either outbulk it or they threaten it with Gyro Ball, Bullet Punch, Heavy Slam, Iron Head / Brave Bird, respectively. Like, Mimikyu needs so many boosts in order to break through Skarmory, Ferrothorn, any of them. And obviously, Scizor does have priority, so I would definitely pair it with a Magnezone. That's one thing I would pair Mimikyu with. But, yeah, just the fact that you have that outright power of Play Rough and Shadow Sneak, you can just save Mimikyu for setup mons. But again, Scarf Tapu Lele, I keep mixing it up with Tapu Fini, I'm so sorry. But Scarf Tapu Lele, very threatening for offensive teams. You don't have to worry about taking that Psychic Terrain boosted Psychic or a Shadow Ball from that thing because you do have your Disguise, and then you can smack that thing with an Adamant Shadow Claw, which does knock it out after a bit of prior damage. So next up we have the second Swords Dance set. Now this one runs a Life Orb. This set is more so designed to set up and go, whereas the other set can set up more comfortably on bulkier mons at status. This set is more so, okay, I want to get up my Swords Dance and I want to attack. And I run Jolly on this set because, again, being able to outspeed Pokemon like Kyurem Black before they get Ice Beam or Iron Head you if you're playing in Pokebank meta, just getting out that outright damage with this means that you can use Jolly. Again, it does outspeed the base 95s and lower, as I previously mentioned, and the damage output is still higher than an Adamant Mimikyu just because the Life Orb, just because the Life Orb is boosted. I believe the damage is really close, but Life Orb does do better. And you can still run Adamant on this as well, which is obviously stronger than Adamant Lumberry Mimikyu, but yeah, it still does hit pretty hard. Base 90 attack is not too much though, but it's nothing really to laugh at. You do have to worry about Pokemon like Toxapex. So again, pairing this thing with a Magnezone, pairing this thing with Pokemon that get rid of Toxapex to threaten it and weaken it for Mimikyu, very helpful. Now the third item is a red card, and I really like this on Mimikyu as well because, again, the example of a setup mon that your opponent might have, when they hit your Disguise, if your Disguise is not broken, they are forced out. So if you want it, you can let a Volcarona get up to +6, and, well, I guess Bug Buzz would be scary. Maybe not Volcarona. Let's use, let's say a Mesprit, okay? Let's just say Mesprit. Whatever, any Calm Mind Pokemon, any boosted mon, it can be up to +6. As long as you have your Disguise intact, the second it hits you, the red card will activate and it will force them out. So you don't have to worry about Pokemon setting up. That's why red card is very viable on Mimikyu coupled with Disguise. It's only a one-time thing though, but it has put in a lot of work for me when I've used it on Battle Spot, because I played with Mimikyu on Battle Spot, I play with it in singles, and it's done a lot of work for me on that as well. The fact that I don't have to worry about my opponent setting up at all. Also, if you have Hazards up and it's a weakened mon, you can get up an SD after. Basically, you can Swords Dance up freely on a turn that the setup mon will attack you, because the red card will force it out, and you get up a Swords Dance while you're forcing in something else that maybe you can deal with the Jolly Mimikyu. Again, Adamant can also be running this Mimikyu. Now, Mimikyu does have a bunch of other options. These aren't necessarily sets, but I'm going to talk about them individually. Thunder Wave is a nice option on a Pokemon with Disguise. It's kind of like having Thunder Wave on a substitute mon. It helps check setup mons as well. Bulk Up is an option that Mimikyu can run. Maybe Bulk Up and like Leech Life if you want, though it doesn't really cover too much, but Sub Bulk Up could be working for Mimikyu. Sub is also very solid if you don't want to use Lumberry on that, but I prefer Lumberry just because I don't have to take my own HP in order to use it. Destiny Bond again is another option where your opponent has to think twice about attacking your Mimikyu. Also on the SD sets, Facade can be ran over Shadow Sneak or over pretty much over Shadow Sneak, I think. Facade is cool if your opponent does burn you. Obviously, Facade is boosted, but then the rest of your set is pretty much useless at that. But Facade can be ran. But Destiny Bond is cool for, again, a Pokemon that your opponent has to hit twice. And Destiny Bond plus Thunder Wave is also nice because they can't attack you that turn, and you can just Thunder Wave them if it's a setup mon and deal with them. Now, it does have a pretty cool physical move pool. I mean, it does have access to Wood Hammer, so Choice Band is an option. You can run like Wood Hammer, and pretty much the rest of your stab, Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak, and Play Rough. But you're going to hit pretty hard. Wood Hammer is cool for a Pokemon like Quagsire, which otherwise laughs at all your attacks. So Wood Hammer can deal with that, as well as being able to deal with a bulky Pokemon like Tapu Fini with a Choice Band or a +2. Pain Split can be ran on like a sub Pain Split variant with status from Will-O-Wisp or Toxic. The fact that you do have Disguise means that Mimikyu doesn't care at least about your first attack, so you could potentially run like Protect, Toxic, Will-O-Wisp. Curse can even be thrown in there if you want. It does have access to Curse. Being a Ghost type, it does lose your opponent's HP. And you can Pain Split up a bit with that. If you run something like that, I would advise like a bulkier Mimikyu. Maybe take advantage of its Spadef stat, or maybe take advantage of, or maybe add some defense. Though if you run min HP, Pain Split does recover more, but you won't be able to take hits as much. But that's all I have to say about Mimikyu. I think that its best sets are SD, which is why I really talked about them this one instead of making like a bunch of different sets. I mean, I did give the other options and I talked a little bit about them. You can do with Mimikyu as you wish, but I believe this is his best set. Swords Dance, and I think Lumberry is one of the best items you can run on it. I also like Red Card and Life Orb. Red Card is, again, super cool because once your opponent hits you, you can go for SD and they'll be forced out, so you don't have to worry about your opponent at all, and you can set up. But I hope you guys all enjoyed. Of course, feel free to leave a like. You can subscribe for more competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon content, as well as showcases, showed on live streams and whatnot. Speaking of streams, feel free to follow me on Twitch. The link is down below, and Twitter to keep up to date. So I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.